What's going on YouTube? It's your boy Cthulhu coming at you with the channel's first Banlist reaction. No, this is not a live reaction. This Banlist dropped like a half hour before my local started, so we were already there. So I'm recording this at like 9:30 at night Eastern. So Banlist has been around for a few hours. I'm sure you've seen it already, but I figured I'd bring my thoughts to what all the big news that happened today and some general thoughts I have about this thing. So we'll just go over some of this stuff, real quickly. Unlimited stuff, not too much to say. We have Armageddon Knight that can come to 3. Red Rose Dragon, I don't know much about. So if you have PTSD from seeing this card, my bad. But I started in tier 0, tier format, like towards the end of it. So I know nothing of this card and whatever heinous things it may have done in the past. Kieran, Magic Spectre's not doing anything. Fine. Plush Fire's fine with the new errata. Ancient Fairy Dragon's fine. Again, no, who's running more than one Ancient Fairy Dragon in the deck? So, cool beans. Denglong, it's been off. I think it was limited, I believe. Um, Nothing's going on. Sword Soul still being Sword Soul. A little power crap. Which I have a comment on later. Most interesting card on here is the one you see in the picture here is Time Seal. Not because it's like, oh my god, this card's busted. It's a bit slow. Even if you're going first, right? Your opponent has to draw a card first, then you can activate this. So it doesn't skip their first draw phase. It skips, their second draw phase unless you maybe got some transaction rollback tomfoolery. But I can honestly, after just looking at this card, I can just see some funny things possibly set up. Like if you're running like hand rip builds of decks, like Mimighoul or Dark World, uh, things like that. You hand rip the shit out of your opponent. You somehow get this card out, whether through thrust or something along those lines, and then they're gonna draw a card, but you hit them with Time Seal, and then you just stop whatever that one card does, and then uh, even if you run more than one copy, usually if you just hit them with one of these, that's probably GG right there. The other thing I was thinking of, I don't know how they would do it because I'm not like super familiar with them, is like the White Forest cards. Just because I know they can like reset any, I think it's any spell or trap that's in the graveyard. So like, you know, breaking through your opponent's board or doing whatever you do with White Forest, and then just resetting this every turn is just kind of insane. Um, but yeah, I'm sure there's some mad lab or some mad lad that's gonna cook up in the lab something with the 3 of these. It'd be kind of funny. So again, to the semi limits, nothing too much to say here. All the Dragon Rollers can go to 3. Dragon Roller's not going to do anything. Luna Light Tiger, one of those cards I don't know about. Not in Depends, and I wasn't there for like when Pendulum was, goaded. Thunder Dragon Colossus should just be banned. Uh, this is eventually going to go to unlimited, but this card should just be banned. It's outable, but no. Chalice, that's fine. Nothing crazy here. And then we get to the fun stuff. We have the limits. So we have a limit on Ava, which is fine with spoiler alert, Beatrice being banned. We have Snake Eye Ash and Snake Eye Poplar. Which you'll really hear my thoughts about what Snake Eyes is after this list. But you know, limiting Ash and Poplar isn't bad. Poplar one's a little weird just because who's really playing 3 Poplar? But the Snake Eye Ash hit is good. A hit to Gimmick Puppets is fine because we don't need FTKs, even though every deck is kind of a pseudo FTK, but that's a whole other thing. Um, we got to hit the Brand of Fusion. I know people have been wanting Brand of Fusion to 1, like the OCG. Honestly, I don't have a problem with this card being a 3. Branded Fusion or Branded Despia is a fun deck to play against as long as they don't have Sanctifier and Puppet. It's a very fun and interactive deck to actually play against. So this is not the right card to hit. A little confusing. And then we have a indirect Yubel hit in Opening of the Spirit Gates. It's a reasonable hit. Like we still search it with 3 Dark Beckoning, so it's not the biggest deal in the world. Just hurts a little bit of the consistency. Because they they could, but it doesn't make sense for them to hit any of the Yubel stuff at the moment. There's only two, I believe, hittable cards. That'd be Phantom and Throne. Throne is non-searchable without, besides terraforming. And then Phantom, both Phantom and Throne are too new to hit, and were too expensive. Um, so they're just too new. And the other Yubel card, like I've seen people like talking about limiting Samsara and things like that, but like even Samsara is way too slow of a card. You have to normal summon, then effect. It's not normal summon effect, so you can't like dodge things. So like you normal summon that and they impermit, and sometimes that's like your only play. You just like scoop. That's it. So and obviously, as you know, the rest of the U-Bells are just bricks. So there's no point in hitting the other U-Bell cards. So those two, those will get hit on a future list. We have one Pot of Prosperity. I don't know how I feel. Like I understand why Pot of Prosperity's hit. It's a broken card. Um, it makes the good decks even better if they can run it. Like cash things like that. Like they don't need Pot of Prosperity, but they can run it and they run it well. Um, but at the same time, it helped out a lot of really bad decks at least try to do something. So hitting this card does suck for that reason. But again, I do understand why it's at one. Second Summoning is a fine hit. It's a common. It's searchable through Pydra and stuff. So there's absolutely nothing wrong with hitting this to one. It's got an archetype search. Um, plus terraforming plus ancient fairy dragon. So hitting this to one is absolutely fine. Um, that grass looks greener. I saw some rumblings about this coming to one before the ban list drop. Surprised it came just because it is a pretty very powerful card. You just play your 60 card pile or whatever deck, maybe not so much a pile. You just dump everything and just pop off. Like I'm sure there's gonna be some really good some tier limit decks with this. Skill drain to one should be banned, but we'll take it at one. There should be other floodgates on here like Synchro Zone. Runic Stun's still strong. Even though skill drain's only at one, that's fine. You just put other floodgates or whatever else to annoy your opponents. This honestly does nothing. If anything, it really only helps like hard opening it with like snake eyes and sending it off, things like that. And then for the bans, we have Fiends with Lacrima. A card that is ban worthy, I would agree, but I don't think it was the right time. The Fiendsmiths are a very small package that can only do so much with their small package. So hitting something in here already just seems kind of premature. Yes, the in time burn is annoying. But there's a lot of decks out there that do the same thing that are still legal. Looking at you, Swordsoul. So I don't really have a problem with the in type burn. It's unnecessary. I will say it is unnecessary. Um, but that's why you run Spooky, right? Um, this card I think should have been hit on a later list. I'm not sure what set she comes out in, but this probably could have been on hit on a list after whenever Lacrimosa comes out. Then I would say that would probably be the time to hit it. But right now, it just seems very premature. Apollosa gone, to be expected. She's very outable. But it's one of those things. If you don't have the out, it's basically another floodgate. Um, and she's very generic, extremely easy to make. If you have a deck that just spam bodies on the board, it's just too easy to make her. We have Calamity. I honestly thought he was gonna escape this list. Uh, like I guess his buddy Sanctifier escaped this list. Just because like what Calamity's strong. Don't get me wrong, it's a bannable card, but like we weren't really, at least I wasn't seeing on any like anything going on, like any tops or anything like that. So I thought he was gonna skip, but I'm happy to see him on here, definitely. Then we have Beatrice. This card was one of the, I think, the top targets to get hit. This card just enables so many disgusting FTKs. This card should just never come off the ban list unless it has some kind of errata or like it locks it in archetype or something along those lines. Because this card is just too generic and too free just to do stupid things, especially with in combination with cards with like transaction rollback. This is just too much. Um, I feel like we're missing some names on this list. I feel like we're missing, like I said before, Sanctifier Dragon. Why? Just why Konami? Is it just for the reprint? I'm expecting to see that card jump up in price again now that hasn't been hit. The other one I think they could have really hit Flamberge or one of those Snake Eyes cards for the actual Forbidden list. The reason why is even though Poplar at one, which is again absolutely nothing, Snake Eyes the one does hurt, but if you even look at the OCG, it's still one of the best, if not the best deck, with so many hits and limits to it. Um, just because there's so many things that they interact, that they use to get into them, like bonfires. You have the whole Diabellstar package. Everything's still at 3. You still have Wanted at 3, Diabellstar at 3. It's still honestly the best deck in the format now. And it's still going to be the best deck when Rhoda comes out with as Marina cards. Don't crucify me for saying that wrong. So they honestly with this list they did not fix the Snake Eye problem. Uh, they did technically hit the consistency a little bit. They did hit some of the end board shenanigans, but the deck is still extremely consistent and will still put up things. So we're still going to be seeing the same deck. Again, I'm not a fan of like killing decks, but maybe there was just a different way of going about it. Because I feel like they're still going to just put up like disgusting things. And I think someone I was reading, this is like the longest we've had like a top tier 1 or tier 0 deck just like go on basically hit. Um, so it's just kind of, disheartening to see that they really didn't hit it, especially with the new support coming out. It's just gonna like make it, the best deck anyway in the format. So overall, I think the list is a little mid. Just for that reason alone, like we got our quote unquote nuke list, but I think it was a nuke more in quantity of names of cards than the actual quality of the cards or the quality of the hits, I should say. Um, Speaking of which, not that something I hit, but I'm very surprised not to see Pankratops on the unlimited list. Now that I'm thinking about it, he's an out defender who's still at 3. That's a lot of cards to be honest with you. He's not like he's a good card, but he's not like broken. Um, and he's a QCR in the 10, I believe. The easy way to sell tins. Everyone wants to play set Pankratops. I know. I'd want to play set. Um, but yeah, overall, I'm sorry for the random ramble about Pankratops, but I think the list is a little mid. 0 out of 10, we'll give it like a 5. I'll give it a 6. I'll give it a 6 because they did hit some big names. Didn't hit all of them, so we'll give them a 6. We'll call it we call 6 like average above average. If you guys disagree with me, just let me know down in the comments section below. Or if you disagree with me or anything about this list, just comment down below. If you give like and subscribe, I'd appreciate it. Thank you guys and have a good day.